here we go. Let's meet.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, talk to us. How you doing today? Today is October the 28th. I just got off from work and I'm here. Finally get home. It was a long day and I'm kind of tired, but something that I kind of wanted to do, something that was on my mind. And on Mondays can be a day, well, some interesting things can happen on Monday. When you go to work, you've been off work all the weekend and now you're getting back, rolling back into things. And I'm a school teacher, so a lot of things can happen at school over the weekends. And then Monday kind of can set your pace for the rest of the week. But kind of wanted to come before you again to talk today and just see, what would God give me to talk about today that would be beneficial for someone out there who's listening, if anyone's listening. I'm just doing Anthony, and I enjoy doing that. It's a different place in my life, and so I kind of can relax and do what I like to do. And here come the bees, and that was a honeybee out here in nature in my back. Try not to kill them, because I learned to respect all life, all God's little creatures, as long as they stay outside. But I guess when I come outside, I'm in their area. Anyway, interesting things happened today at school. We had a fight in my classroom. Well, it wasn't a fight. It almost became one. But I realized that I wanted to really be a source that can make a difference anywhere I am, whether I'm at school, whether I'm here at my program theater, doing ministry or whatever. I like to be the person that is looking for the answers to our problems. And I want to decide that either I'm going to be an answer, a part of the problem, or a part of the answer, okay? And the thought came to me today, with an issue that happened with some of the students, some of the girls. Girls, they can, it's really heartbreaking to see our girls fighting and wanting to be after each other physically, because we always like to see our ladies as ladies, but I guess they have emotions too and things that they have to deal with, because we as a people, we're dealing with so much stuff, and girls, they deal with things too. And so I'm usually mentoring and talking to the young men and telling them about how to be and how to act and how to stay alive. You have to teach them how to stay alive today because of all the things that's going on in our country. And I have sons, and I have two sons, and I've always tried to be somewhat of an advisor or whatever to young men in the community. So, and I have a daughter also, so I had to kind of learn how to balance both of those things and try to see, okay, answer some of the things that by tradition I would have answered one way, but as I learn and as I grow, I change. But there was an altercation today, and it was really hard for me to get control over that situation with just talking, but I knew it was necessary. And the thought came to me, if I'm not able to solve the problem between just children, by talking and trying to reach them intellectually so that they can reason what is going on before them, I should have enough wisdom to be able to do that. I'm 62 years old. I've been where they're going, and they're just getting started. But they're all dealing with different situations, different backgrounds, and our children deal with a lot of stuff. So, they are trying to figure out their way how to deal with jealousies, deal with a whole lot of other issues that kind of came up as I was teaching as I was dealing with the students today. But I did try to talk with them because I don't like sending students to ISS. That's something I don't do. I haven't done it in 4 years. I always try to solve these problems within my classroom because they need it. They need a listening ear. They need to be able to be themselves, and they need to be able to express themselves in the way that they express themselves at home. And I need to try to be patient enough to be able to listen to them and to be able to take a lick with a word or whatever, because if you are a lifesaver, if you're a lifeguard, you have to know that when a person is drowning and you're the one that's supposed to be experienced enough to save them or to keep them from drowning and to get them to safety, you have to have some skills and you have to be prepared to take a lick. You know, they might say something to you, just like a drowning person might grab you. They might grab you. Why? Not so much because of you, but because they're drowning and they're reaching for anything to hold on to keep them from drowning. So you have to be skilled enough to know as a lifeguard that sometimes you have to go under the water, go under them and lift them up so they can catch some air and breathe. That's sort of an analogy that I use when I say that I had to be trained enough and love them enough. Just like if I was going to save someone who was drowning, I have to want to save them enough to not if I'm a good swimmer, if I'm supposed to be an experienced and good swimmer and able to save their lives, I need to know what to do and how to do and when to do, and in case this happened, what to do next and what have you. So when you're saved and work with as many children as I have in my lifetime, you kind of get a second nature about what to do, when to do, when these things happen. So when this occurred today, I felt like I almost had it right down. I almost was able to keep this person from having to go to the office. But because of their pride, they were not able to exit the room without an altercation. And my students know that I have a certain rule about, about how is it that I deal with certain situations in the classroom. Because I always tell them, we'll step outside the door and we will talk. And I will let them talk, and when they finish talking, then I will talk. But you have to get them by themselves so that you can kind of teach them. And I look for opportunities to teach every day. Every time something happens, I reach down within my spirit and I say, what is it that I need to say to this individual in order to get them to understand and to see the bigger picture? Because it's about the things that they are going through every day. There's a bigger picture that affects us as a people. And the word came to me today, if I can't solve a situation between 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, or 5 people, or any number of people within my classroom, if I cannot find the right words and the right experiences, and if I can't diagnose what kind of medicine they need or treatment that they need for this, how can I be of any help when the problem is universal? For black people, we're learning how to counsel ourselves. We're learning we should be learning how to love each other. We should be learning how to forgive each other. We should be learning how to network and work together, because it is so critical right now. We're being destroyed from every aspect of life. Sometimes I think we're really in trouble if we don't solve this problem from within us. It doesn't seem to be very hopeful. So my job right now is I'm really looking for hope. I'm hoping that within me there's an answer if I just keep paying attention to what's going on. If I keep paying attention to those who've gone before us. If I keep praying to our ancestors and asking for their assistance. And that's what we have to do. We have to stop and meditate, and we must have peace within ourselves in order to bring peace to other situations. So it is so important to spend this time with ourselves to become equipped so that when opportunities come your way to teach someone else or to help someone else, hopefully we'll be equipped. That situation today will be, okay, that situation today, I did not feel like it all lost. I really didn't. And I think we prevented having to send any of the students to ISS because in my school, I always say ISS is jail. Just like jail is slavery. When someone goes to prison, you're actually, what's a better way of saying it? Today, prison is the new slavery. So, ISS, to me, is the new slavery or the new prison. When you get sent to ISS, you're in a protected environment because they are students and they're children. But when they turn 18 and they're out of high school, now they've got to deal with the whole world. They've got to deal with the world system, and that is the way they treat us. So, when we send someone to ISS, number one, now you're usually in an environment where no one is teaching you. No one, I can't teach you when you're in ISS, but I can teach you in that classroom. And so I love our people so much until I refuse to send them to ISS because I know that we all are worthy. We all are worthy of being saved. Like the lifeguard, saved from drowning, because we did not get to this situation on our own. We have to remember where we're coming from. We have to remember our past. Once I got to talking to the students and getting to know them a little bit better, I found out that there was anger in other places, in other parts of their lives, which brings out misdirected anger. And a lot of times that's all we're dealing with is a lot of enrage, a lot of disappointment, whether male or female, men, we as men not feeling that we have the ability to protect our families today. Females not feeling protected by us today. Now, and we are all dealing with problems at home as our students. They deal with things at home also. I always address my students as young adults when they come to my classroom, because in actuality, they are. Biologically speaking, when a child gets to the point, God turns this key on. I'm an animal science major, so I know that there is something that turns on in the animals on a natural environment. Something turns on their desire to mate. That is when we say that this animal is no longer a puppy or no longer an immature animal. It is moved over into its maturity. It may be young, but those desires are there. And those desires are there in our children. And what we're calling children, but our young adults. So the best way to get a person to become more responsible is to treat them like they ought to be more responsible. So immediately I will go to that level of teaching. So today was a success because even though the student had to go to the office, I went down and I spoke in reference to how this person tried to compose themselves. I hope it was because of the respect that they had for me. And because they just weren't able to hold it together until they could get out of my room, from out of that environment where the hostility had manifested itself. So after all that was done, and because it did not become a physical altercation, I think the student was spared. But all it said to me is that there's a lot of work that needs to be done. A lot of talking. We have to talk to our students. And a lot of times, one way of helping them to understand certain things that they may be doing that is very childish, to remind them that, what if you had a child, which you could very well at this moment? The advice that is coming out of your mouth right now, is this the advice that you would give your child? Then I shut up. I said, I need you to answer me this, and I need you to stop and think about you as a mother. Is this the advice that you would give to your child? And I need you to answer me honestly. And then I shut my mouth. And almost every time they will always give the right answer. They will always give the right answer. When a child is played, when a young adult is treated like a young adult and you let them speak, leave them alone for a minute, let them think, they will give you the right answer every time. So I'm saying that this is the key. This is the beginning of us as a people waking up and realizing we have to stop and look at our environment and look at our situation that we are in as black people in this country. If we're going to resolve the problems that we are dealing with, we have got to be able to, number one, forgive each other, because we have all come from a bunch of crap, and I could use some other words. We've all come from a bunch of it, and we're dealing with it. And none of us have had any counseling. From one generation to the next generation to the next generation to the next generation, over 400 years of enslavement. So we have a whole lot of enslavement mentality here in our minds that is still affecting us. And after I talked to those two students, I found that they were both dealing with some of the same anger. I said, now you understand why this person is angry? Do you understand why this person is angry? You're both dealing with the same thing, but we're exploding on each other. We're all dealing with something. But we have to be able to make the decision. Are we going to be a part of the problem, or are we going to be a part of the answer? So I think that is the message that I want to bring to you today. Let's all stop, slow down, get yourself together, calm yourself down, find your peace, and then try to share that peace with others intellectually, where we can stop and think about what we need to be doing as a people, because we must come together. If we don't come together, if we can't forgive each other, we'll never come together, because we're all dealing with something. And I'm like, our enemy, some of us, we forgive them so quickly. The ones who have oppressed us over years, we forgive our enemy faster than we forgive our brothers. Something's wrong with that picture. Can't you see that? The people who have done all of this mischief to our family, to our mothers and fathers, and the people who have gone on before us, we forgive them, but we'll not forgive your own brother. And we're busy taking our men, sending our men to prison, back into slavery, because of child support. But how many of us have taken Massa, taken him, and put him in slavery for all the things that he's done to us? We've had our women, our sisters have had babies for them. I don't see us running after them to get child support from them to put them in prison. So why would you do that to your fellow slave? Your fellow enslaved brother who went through the same things that you go through, but you are ready to put him back into slavery, but you won't do it to your oppressor. Something's wrong with that. Don't you see that? There's a problem there. So we need to learn how to forgive each other, because the problems that we have, they're not our own. And I'd like to also add to my statement, I spoke in reference to men going to prison and being placed back into slavery. But I also understand that there's a counterpart to that same situation, is what's happening to our females. And I'm becoming more and more convinced that our women are to be honored and to be respected to a great degree. I mean, I talk to the girls in the classroom and I say, you have to do a psychological shift. You have to realize that you are queens. There is no human that can come into this world without a woman. I mean, you are the nurturer. If we don't get to our mothers, we will die. We need our mothers. We need to treat our women as if they are queens. But I have done a second thought here. Because so many men are ending up in prison because of can I say their failure to meet their responsibilities, or can I say I'm really going through a transition now to where I'm having to go back and examine everything that I've always taught, because I've always taught this, even ever since I was like 19, young men to respect women, to not touch them, do not put your hands on them, and this and that. And everybody who knows me, they knows that's always been my sermon. That's always been. And for someone to bring that type of word against me, I know that was only the enemy trying to entrap me. But that has always been my language, has always been my actions and the way I've done things. But now I'm at a point to where I'm realizing that maybe it's not natural for a man to call his wife his queen. Well, why do I say that, Mr. E? I'm a man who have experienced divorce. And I was the type of man that thought that I had to be the mother and the father and do all these things, and it wasn't necessary. Not saying that I didn't have a good wife. She was. But understanding that me with the intentions of just trying to be an excellent father or an excellent husband, I've always gone overboard, micromanaging even within my home. But one thing that I have realized now, what that has taught me after 35 years, is that a man who has a mother who he honors and he respects, who has given him life, who will never teach him deliberately a demise, who would never send her son to prison, who would never do anything to skin her son up if she's a good mother. I know I had that type of mother. And even I can probably you as a woman, if you had a son and you love your children, even if they're wrong, you might even take up for them until you get them back home or whatever. But you would never do anything to destroy your son if you're a good mother. Now, I know there are different situations, and there are kids, some kids who have awful parents. I didn't have that, so I can't really relate to that. But if you know that you have a good mother and a good father, what have you, those parents who love you are not going to be the hands that's going to destroy you. That's your queen. So why would you put anyone else before your mother? I know we get a lot of, you're a mama's boy, whatever. We get a lot of that. But who raised me? Who gave me my values? Why am I the way I am? This mother is the one who groomed and shaped me and made me the man that I am today, who would never send her prodigy to prison or put me back into slavery. But I know this. Whether it's Christian marriage, religious marriage, or whatever, disappoint your spouse. Disappoint her, and a divorce happens. When that divorce happens, watch them skin you up. Why would you call this person your queen? Why would I do that? Why would I put her love over the love that I know my mother has for me? So I woke up, and I'm still waking, I'm still learning. And this is good advice for young men and for young women. If you cannot respect my mother, then you have nothing to do with me, because I'm a product of her, and I honor my mother. Now, when you honor your parents, now if you don't honor your parents, what if you got some discomforts about them or whatever, you don't like what they did to you or whatever, you don't think that they did the best for you or whatever, maybe I understand that. But if you love your parents as much as I love my parents, a key to me should be, if you don't respect the parents who gave me life and raised me, I should kick you up. I should kick you to the curb. That's my sign right there. Because if you don't respect the person who made me who I am today, how can you properly even love me? And that's vice versa. You should not be marrying someone who you do not appreciate their parents, but yet you love them and you're so over the hills with them, but you cannot honor their parents. Wrong match. So you young people, y'all remember that. Remember that. You should learn to honor and love your parents. Try to find something, and if you cannot, then there's a question there as to maybe what you might need to consider more, or you might need to investigate a little bit more. Not saying that this is the wrong person, I won't say that, but there's some investigation that needs to be done before you make this life-changing addition in your life. Because once you marry someone, you not only marry that person, you marry their family. And if you cannot honor and respect the family, you're probably going to have some problems. Now, I wanted to come back in and amend that into our little talk. So with that said, let's learn to forgive each other. Let's learn to find that peace and forgive ourselves. And let's try to find a way to improve our situations. And we need to start at home. Better yet, start with yourself. Well, I love you. And I like to just say, I grant you peace. We would greatly appreciate it if you would like this video and share it with your friends in order that we can expand our audiences. Hello, this is Mr. Ezell. If you would like to make a financial contribution to our efforts to make a positive difference in our community, please do so. You may make your contributions to Ezell's Productions LLC, 223 Commerce Street in Jackson, Alabama, 36545. Thank you.